Okay, thanks Becca, and good morning everyone. Welcome to our 8th Investival. Hopefully the only one we will ever do in virtual format. Most of you will be familiar with the structure of the sessions. I'll open up with a 10-15 minute summary of what's going on at AJ Bell, one or two market comments, and then we'll hand over to the fund managers. Before I do that, firstly I'd like to welcome Becca, who is a replacement for Nina, who's recently been promoted to BBC editor. Or business editor, and she's no longer allowed to take on activities such as this. So I'm sure Becca will be able to do a sterling job and keep us all on track over the next couple of days. Starting off with our trading update, we've had a good solid year. Our year end is the end of September. We actually just passed our 25th anniversary this year, believe it or not, coming up to our second anniversary as a listed business. And in March we'll have been in the FTSE 250 for a couple of years as well. So it's all been changes, as has always been the case at AJ Bell. The year we've had has been a good solid year again. We've seen a very healthy growth in customer numbers, and the AUA figure you see on the screen there really needs to be taken in the context of a 19% fall in the FTSE All-Share over that same period. So I think both AUA and customers have progressed really well over the year. So you don't need me to tell you it's been an interesting year. We've had a number of global events, each one of them momentous in its own right. Undoubtedly makes it difficult for you guys to advise your clients, keep them reassured. Hopefully what you'll get out of the next 2 days is some of the themes underneath this noise that will allow you to speak to your clients on investment strategies and the like, and you keep them properly informed and carry on doing what you do best. So when the lockdown was announced in March, we faced very similar challenges to most other financial services firms. We were desperate to keep our services running on a business as usual basis. We recognised we had to very quickly send the vast majority of our staff home and get them working effectively from there. I think we managed to do both, and I think the recent platform survey is testimony to this. Of the advisors spoken to, 99% said that we were either very good or good in maintaining our customer service levels, which is certainly the staff back at the ranch have appreciated that feedback. If we look beyond the walls of AJ Bell and out into the advisor platform market, how has that fared over the last 12 months, and probably more in particularly over the last 6 months? Well, I think it's done well. It's been very resolute. To the year end June 20, which are the latest figures, we've seen assets creep up to 541 billion, a 4.7% increase on the June to June period. But again, it needs to be seen in the context of a 16% fall in the FTSE All-Share during that period. If we look over to the regulator, I think we've seen continued pressure on DB transfers. We've still seen that business come in through the doors. I think what we have seen is a smaller number of firms carrying out that business, typically more specialist firms. It feels to have levelled off now. Clearly, with low interest rate environment we're in now, there is still going to be a demand from customers, and no doubt a challenge that many of you will be faced with on a regular basis as to how you can find a solution for those customers who are insistent that they do want to leave the DB scheme and move into a personal pension environment for what, in many circumstances, are very sensible reasons. There's also regulatory focus on the total cost of ownership, the value chain, value for money. I think the one area which still doesn't seem to me to have moved just enough is on active fund manager costs. I think the active fund manager guys now will have to do something on this front. Either they don't and will carry on seeing the shift over to passives, or if they do, then in what is inevitably a lower interest rate and investment return environment coming forward, there is going to be continued focus on costs. I think also when we speak to both advisors and the FCA, centralised investment propositions are featuring in these conversations. I think that they are a force for good. I think what advisors need to make sure is that they do deal with the full breadth of different customer scenarios, and particularly I think areas where more innovation is needed from the market generally rather than from advisors is in dealing with the at retirement and the post-retirement market. I I think what you see there is a chart, again, we've shown similar before. What that does is really highlight that since the launch of the RIA, on a chart where blue is the best and red is the worst and white is somewhere in between, I think it shows across the full range of your typical client scenarios. We've maintained our competitive position right at the forefront of charges, which more and more now the surveys and advisors tell us face to face is a massive part of the decision making process when choosing which platform to align with. Another slide that some of you will be familiar with from these sessions before. We recognise we've gone on a journey from being a specialist SIP provider into a full-blown platform, and what this chart has done in the past and does now is continue to chart that progress. We're now over 50% of the advisors who use us treat us as their primary platform. So I think what's been really pleasing over the last 12 months, and even more so in the last 6 months, is the ability we've had to keep to what has been quite an aggressive program of changes and developments to our propositions. Whilst some out there have been struggling to answer the phone, respond to emails, we have been continuing to develop Investcentre and the RIA. We've seen scanned documents and e-signatures come to the fore. In fairness, this was accelerated due to COVID and has been very well received and will be a permanent feature of our operating model going forward. We saw the RIA come earlier on in the year, again being very well received, and third-party MPS more recently. We've got 4 separate firms on there now, and others will be added, really driven by demand from advisors in the market. And then there's a whole host of goodies out there that we've either delivered or about to deliver shortly. So here's just a quick reminder of the BDMs. Still a very small team compared to some out there in the market, but they are there to help. And if you've got any questions on either my session or anything else you come across in relation to our products or the talk today, then please feel free to give them a ring or drop them an email. I think many of us recognise that in financial services we are better off than many during the pandemic, and as well as us announcing early doors that we wouldn't claim on any of the financial support made available by the government. What we did want to do is something just a little bit more in giving something back to our local communities. So we launched the Wage War on COVID Fund. It was driven by a number of senior staff wanting to donate 3 months' salary. This was then followed on by a large number of our staff who gave what they could afford. Some customers donated, some advisors donated. £50,000 was allocated by the AJ Bell Trust, and we raised just under £400,000 in a very short period of time. We made a commitment to spend every penny that, no admin fees, no costs. Every penny would get to good causes, all COVID related. So far we've donated £30,000 to food banks. Over £80,000 has been donated to 26 charities and causes nominated by our staff. 400 tablets have been donated to care homes, hospitals and youth charities, and more supports planned for the second wave.